What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video from the Bald Eagle, and we're doing another episode of Mugen Chats. As you can probably see in the title, today's topic is college students buying fake vaccine passes to get around the college rules of everyone having to be vaccinated. This is what we're getting to in 2021. We are now getting back into the school season, and what you're gonna start seeing is a lot of colleges and universities and work offices and elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools are gonna start requiring students to have their vaccine pass to come back to the classroom. And in this climate, that creates a lot of tension. But you know how we do it here, folks. I give you the opinion, I give you the background, I give you my thoughts, and we're gonna have fun with it as we usually do. All right. Let's get straight to the video.
Some college students are now trying to buy their way out of new COVID protocols on campus by purchasing fake vaccine cards. WREL's Laura Levine looks into these claims at UNC.
Up to $200, that's how much I'm told students are willing to pay to get their hands on one of these. Now, the university is only encouraging students to submit their vaccination status, yet some are still trying to get around it.
And let me just get into our first point here. Currently, it's encouraged. What does that mean? That means that they're asking for people's willing cooperation, and you know, when you ask willingly, you give people the right to say yes, and you also give people the right to say no, I don't want to cooperate, and that's fine. But when you start to make things mandatory, you put people in an odd position of where, well, isn't it my choice to get the shot? We're always telling people it's my body, my choice, but when your actions don't reflect that in your actual school policy, you start to get into a means of conflict, because now you're taking that choice away. And I totally understand if you want people to come back to school and feel safe and keep numbers of this virus down, especially with the new Delta variant and other variants coming out. But you got to realize some people are against it for whatever reason, whether they don't trust the vaccine itself or they don't trust being forced to take it. And so that's some backlash you're going to have to deal with.
Sir sounded the alarm on Twitter with this post. He says he spoke with worried UNC students who knew how to buy a fake COVID-19 vaccine card and knew of others who submitted one to the university.
It is really disturbing the lengths that some students are willing to go to subvert.
All right, guys, just to get into my second point here, these vaccine cards, not to encourage any illegal behavior, but these cards are very easy to forge. I mean, if people are able to get a legal medical document copy from eBay and just fill it out by hand, that already tells you the seriousness that they're giving the actual vaccine. I mean, this is not to promote a digital vaccine passport, which I think is going to be the next step for a lot of these places. The paper one was just a precursor to get people warmed up to the idea of a vaccine pass to begin with. I mean, now that the paper vaccine passports are being forged and copied and sold to people who don't want to get vaccinated, now this gives them a reason to bring out the digital vaccine passports, because now they have an excuse. So you can kind of see this as a way of this behavior as backfiring against the people who don't want to get vaccinated. And I don't blame them. To be honest, I am not the firmest believer on a 3-month vaccine, but that's neither here or there. The point is, this kind of activity is going to bring about the digital vaccine passport that people have been so afraid of. And I worry that once we get these digital vaccine passports, we're going to see people really say, no, I'm not getting vaccinated. No. And there's going to be a conflict between people. There's going to be a demographic of people who will be served, will be allowed in classrooms and traveling and dining. And then there will be a group of people who are ostracized simply by their vaccination status. And I don't think that's right either. So there has to be some kind of solution in between where people aren't feeling forced to fake their own vaccination records, but on the other side, shouldn't be put in a position where they would feel like they need to fake their vaccination records just to be able to go about their daily lives. All right, let's get back into it.
Requirements.
Simon Palmore has heard of many of his fellow classmates deciding to buy vaccine cards to send to the university.
And these students are going to be able to subvert the regular testing while also not being protected from the virus.
UNC rolled out this verification form, encouraging those vaccinated to verify their status.
Me, the type of people who would fake a vaccine card are the type of people who, might go to parties and get COVID. So absolutely, that's the group that I think should be tested weekly.
I'm told it's as easy as getting a fake ID. Online vendors have made blank cards more accessible.
I'm in the healthcare world, and I'm like, that's just absolutely horrible. We're on an educated college campus in one of the most educated places in the world, and it should be like, how can you be faking a vaccine when we have people to care about?
So I'm actually going to deviate. I'm actually going to disagree with his statement a little bit. College campuses are some of the most educated places. We have a group of young people. It's some of the most educated places you can be in. But you also got to realize college campuses are filled with young people, and as a young person myself, I can tell you that we don't always make the best decision, no matter how educated that you perceive yourself to be, because you never know what you don't know. And my point in making that statement is some people do their own research and find out, this isn't right for me. And so if college campuses are a place for discourse and rigorous study and really getting to the facts of things, you have to be okay with being wrong. And you have to be able to challenge different ideas. So when you force something on a group of people or everyone, no matter what conclusion that they personally come up to, you're going to get some friction. And while I agree that the vaccine is probably safe for most people, a lot of people might come to conclusions, due to this health reason and this religious reason and this personal reason, that I don't think it's the best for my particular situation. But then you're told, okay, you have to pretty much comply. You have to get vaccinated to go to this university where you're participating in rigorous discourse and learning. It kind of comes off as ignorant or biased. When I do my own rigorous study and I make a decision that's well educated for myself, I'm not allowed to express that right and to choose what's best for me. Even though I agree the people who are probably faking these vaccine passports would be the first people to be in parties and everyone's faces and gathering in large crowds. But you also got to realize these are people who just want to go to class and just want to learn and just want to do things for themselves without having to be forced to participate in something that they found for themselves not to be in their own best interest. So while I agree, yes, college campuses are filled with some of the most educated people. Those educated people sometimes aren't allowed to make a decision that's best for them, because they're being told that whatever policy there is best for them, if that makes sense. I know that might be confusing, but I hope you can get the gist of my argument. Is people need to be able to choose their own choices and be able to participate in certain things that they pay for. I mean, these students are paying 10, 15 grand a semester to be at a college campus, and you're telling them, well, if you don't participate in this vaccine that's technically still experimental, you can be kicked off. And why I think it's their right to say who can and can be on their college campuses. Just know there's going to be friction and illegal activities on both sides, and I don't condone that, but just to let you know, that's the risk that you take.
I brought this issue to officials at the Orange County Health Department.
If anybody is out there trying to get around the testing requirement, that's really something that should be dealt with severely by any university.
With the surge of the Delta variant and the fall semester just 2 weeks away, some hope UNC will crack down a little harder.
So I think if there was a vaccine requirement, the university would be forced to look more closely at these vaccination cards and verify that they're in fact legitimate.
Now, the university sent me a statement late this afternoon responding to this issue, saying providing false information about a vaccination status is a violation of the university honor code violations and may result in disciplinary action such as suspension from the university. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Chapel Hill.
So what they're pretty much saying is that if they do decide to make the vaccine mandatory in universities, they're going to have to start looking at these vaccine passports. And what's going to happen when you find out that 5%, 10%, because right now it's willingly. So people are willingly putting in their vaccine passports. So you still have people who aren't vaccinated, people who have actually gotten vaccinated and uploaded their vaccine passports, and then you got a subsequent group of people that submitted a fake vaccine passport. So what's going to happen when they finally make these vaccines mandatory for all grade, I mean not all grade levels, but for all levels of education, you know, whether it's middle school and high school and especially colleges, and they start checking these passports and you see 5%, 10%, 15%, maybe even 20% of the people who submitted a vaccine card, they might find out that these passes are fake. The passes that they submitted were fakes. What kind of disciplinary action is going to happen? They said suspension. Are these people going to be permanently suspended from the school? Are some of them going to be permanently suspended from the school? Well, if it's 20% of the students in your university that have a fake vaccine passport, what happens then? Do you lose 20% of your students? Do you alienate a whole new group of people to say, hey, you can't come to our university? And then does that mean to compete? Are some universities going to be like, hey, we don't care if you're vaccinated. We don't care if you're non-vaccinated. You can come to our university and we're not going to check. It's all willingly. And now we're going to have universities start competing for people who are either vaccinated or non-vaccinated or unvaccinated. So it just really brings up a real big dilemma. Just to give some of my final thoughts, guys, let's see if we can read some comments. Let's see. All right, first comment we got here. An American tourist crossed the Canadian border with fake vaccine card and got fined 20 grand. Yeah, I heard about that, and that's good, because people faking these cards, it does pose a danger to the public. But I also well, if you're coming in from the Canadian border, that's a whole nother thing. But I agree with people to choose whether or not they think a vaccine is right for them. And I kind of wish that universities would let people continue having that choice, because trust me, come September and October and November, especially as all these variants add up, be prepared for these digital vaccine passes. You're gonna have to log in and so have some kind of digital vaccine pass, and that they'll check it. And I think it's gonna be very spicy, guys. It's gonna be very spicy. Well, we're getting to the end of the video here. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell button. I'm trying to get better and better here, guys. We're gonna get more videos out. We're gonna hit more spicy topics. I got a lot of big things planned up here. So yeah, so if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like, comment, sub. I'm trying to get to 100 subs by the end of the month. Hopefully I can do that. And the only way I can do that if y'all hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys and enjoy the rest of the video.